Hello. So good to be here today and welcome you all to the Center for Spiritual Living, Antelope Valley. Yay! Okay, yay! Whether you're here in person or live online or watching it at another time, we welcome you with open hearts and welcome you home to the joy, the beauty, the presence of the divine that is indwelling within you and expressing through you as you. So happy to have you joining us. My name is Renee Cornwell. I'm the practitioner of the day today. And yay! And oh, stop. And we have our singers today. We have Stacy Justice, Dina Efferson Williams, and Lori Love. We all love Lori. Okay, yes, you're going to be blessed by their beautiful vocals today. And on sound and video, we have Bruce Smith and what's your name? What's his name? Frank Williams, a gentleman that I always look up to. Yay, yes. We all look up to Frank. So I'm going to call up Angelica with our announcements.
So, thank you. So these are the announcements for August the 25th, 2024. Classes. So after service today at 2:30, Reverend Patrick Harbula, I hope I'm not killing the last name, will facilitate the workshop, Busting Loose from the Money Game. You will learn to step into a life filled with deeper freedom, trust, and joy. Guide your life from the presence of your expanded self by applying practical formulas to effortlessly and playfully increase abundance. The cost is a love donation. Okay, sign up today and get your book for the new certificated class, Journey of the Soul, signed by Reverend Patrick Arbula. The class is starting this Thursday, August the 29th, from 5:30 to 8 p.m., facilitated by Renee Cornwell. The cost is $265. This class invites students to affirm and experience their inner divinity. The most common themes in this course are looking for the magic, the opportunity for growth, and the sacredness in every situation in life, especially the changing ones. Of course, this also means looking for the magic and sacredness within oneself. Next is our weekly events. Yoga classes, yay! Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30. Dina, of course, will strengthen your mind and body with her classes. Don't miss a chance to improve your health and your life with yoga. A $20 love donation is gratefully accepted. Current events. Our Desert Montessori Academy's air conditioning is no longer working. We have kids getting very hot. We need your help. So please go to a GoFundMe page that we had set up and look for Keep Kids Cool at Desert Montessori Academy to make a donation, or speak to any of our board members and they will happily accept your generous help. Join the new Authentically Me women's group today at 3 p.m. Are we having that today? Yeah. Discover the fun that awaits you. Join this group. It is a safe space for you to heal, recover, regroup, recharge, and be seen. It meets once a month on the fourth Sunday. Every moment is designed to bring you joy and laughter in your life. Stacy's New Moon Sound Bath. Yeah. Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. That's not the right graphic. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's September 3rd at 7 p.m. Experience this immersive meditation for only a love donation, a $20 love donation. Sonically connect to the moon and enjoy the amazing sounds of the crystal singing sound bowls. We have a Spanish language study group that meets the first Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The next meeting in September is on September the 4th. El grupo de estudio en español, eso sí me sale muy bien, ¿ven? Se reúne el primer miércoles de cada mes. Vengan a compartir, a aprender y a explorar la ciencia de la mente y cómo aplicarla para obtener más felicidad y abundancia en su vida. El próximo grupo será el 4 de septiembre de 6 a 7:30 de la tarde. Invite a sus amigos, aquí los esperamos. On Tuesday, September the 17th from 6 to 7, the monthly men's group meets. Yay! It is facilitated by our core council president, Frank Williams. It meets every third Tuesday of the month. The purpose of this group is to provide a safe and confidential space for men to gather and share their experience, fellowship, strength, and wisdom with peers. Reverend Jessica Fish has a Zoom bereavement support group that meets on the fourth Saturday of every month. The next meeting is on September the 28th from 1 to 3 p.m. If you are grieving or know someone who is, please tell them about this beautiful group. It meets on Zoom only. The link information is on our website, in the weekly email bulletin, or on our brochure on the back table over there. Spread the word. We are looking for sponsors and vendors. October the 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., our center and the California Performing Arts is having a healing arts and musical festival here at the center. If you know of anyone who would be interested in participating as a sponsor or purchasing a booth, please direct them to our website, Center for Spiritual Living, antelopevalley.com. Okay, did you know that we have a compassionate care team? If you know of someone in our spiritual community that is having health challenges in the hospital or is otherwise in need of support, please contact our compassionate care team, Reverend Jessica Fish or John McLaughlin. There are so many ways to be of service. One way is sharing food with friends, like we do after service on Sundays. So, if you feel inspired to be of service through hospitality, please see Joan Gonzalez for more information. Is anyone here for the first time? Welcome. The ushers have a gift bag for you. There is an information card in there for you to fill out, so we can send you our email bulletin. Sign up and stay informed of the events and news at our center. Please give the card to one of our ushers. Thank you, and let's give him a warm welcome, which we already did. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, we have a new fellowship offering on Zoom after the service. Please go to our website or check the weekly email bulletin for the ad with Zoom login. We have many ways to keep us informed. First, sign up for our weekly email bulletin. The website is, as you all know, Center of Spiritual Living, antelopevalley.com. No commas, no periods. For those of you who still like paper, the brochure is on the table on the back. Our practitioners offer personal private prayer after the service. Please exit the sanctuary right after the service. Your silence and respect is appreciated. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to see all of your lovely faces, and as you can see, we have a new center singer. So please welcome Miss Lori, and join us as we sing Today I Choose.
What do I want my day to be? I choose.
Deep breath.
What do I want to feel today? I choose.
What do I want to be today? I choose. I choose. I choose. I choose. Today I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today, making choices. I choose to be grateful, grateful. You stand in your choices. Today I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today I choose to be grateful, grateful. Come on, Stacy. Today I choose to be happy, so happy. Today I choose to be happy, happy. Today I choose to be peaceful, so peaceful. Today I choose to be peaceful, peaceful. Whatever I choose is how my day's gonna be. I tell you what I want, 'cause it's all up to me. Oh, today I choose to be loving, so loving. Today I choose to be loving, loving. Today I choose to be joyful, so joyful. Today I choose to be joyful, joyful. Today I choose. Today I choose. This is our grounding time. Grounding in. Today I choose. Today I choose. Whatever I choose is how my day's gonna be. I claim what I want, 'cause it's all up to me. It's all up to me. All today I choose to be grateful, so thankful. Today I choose to be thankful, thankful. Today I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today I choose to be grateful, grateful. Oh, grateful, grateful. I am grateful, grateful. So grateful, grateful.
Well, ladies, thank you for giving me another thing to be grateful for today. Yay! That energy, those voices, the aliveness, the love. Yes, well, Miriam skipped out, so I'm going to ask Angelica if she'd mind coming up and lighting the flames of faith for us. I want to get higher. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Don't go there. All right, lighting the flames of faith, a call to service. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here, right now. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for those who are as yet unaware, of spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them here at the center. As we light the healing candles, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. Thank you, Angelica. Oh, and I have two more announcements. One that Frank had just told me about to let you all know that we are now live on YouTube once again. Yay! So I assume that means there will be recordings on YouTube. Yes, I'm getting 2 thumbs up. Oh, we're a critic now. 2 thumbs up. Okay. Well, of course, 2 thumbs up. Oh, yes, 2 thumbs up. Yes, and there's a second announcement. So I'm going to go out on a limb and the practitioners are available for prayer after service. And so for the first one that hits me up for a prayer after service, we'll get a free practitioner session this week over the phone. So be prepared to give me your contact information. And run, don't walk. No. All righty. So I'm going to go into today's reading, and then I'll go directly into the invocation. So if you'd like to close your eyes for this and take these words in. It's from the book, I Am the Door. I love this book. Okay. Since we're going to be moving into the season of abundance, I thought this might be a good thing to get out of the way. So the title is Scarcity Thinking. Scarcity thinking results from your perception that you are not worthy of love. When you do not feel worthy of love, you project lack outside of you. The experience of scarcity is not God punishing you. It is you showing yourself a belief that needs to be corrected. Abundance comes into your life not because you have learned to memorize some mumbo-jumbo incantation, but because you have learned to bring love to the wounded aspects of your psyche. Love heals all perception of division and lack, restoring the original perception of wholeness, free of sin or guilt. And so in knowing the divine presence that inspired these words, that same divine presence inspired us to be here today, to be with each other, to shine that divine presence as it does through each one of us, individually and collectively. And so today's service was already blessed before we ever even got here. Because it was the blessing of that call that inspired us to be here, to open our hearts and express our hearts through our unique expression known as the soul. Coming together in light, in love, in wisdom, and allowing this life to flow through us as easily as it knows how to flow. So we step aside and open up. And so that blessing comes forth today, through us, as us, around us, and radiates out from this sanctuary, blessing all because of our willingness to say yes. And so I release these words into that law of cause and effect, knowing that the cause was already here, manifesting as the effect of us, as we continue this circular blessing, allowing it to manifest through us in gratitude and acceptance. I release these words, and we affirm them with the words, and so it is. Yay, ladies.
I send my love. As you send, there's a blessing. And as you allow yourself to receive, the blessing is fulfilled. Breathe in.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea.
Yay. Two big hands. Okay. And a foot. Okay. And now it is my good pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker today and future workshop leader, Reverend Dr. Patrick J. Harbula. What does the J stand for? Joyful, I bet, right?
Yes.
Yes. I know him all too well. My brother from another mother, yes. Reverend Dr. Patrick Harbula has been a spiritual leader, counselor, and coach for over 35 years and reaches hundreds of thousands with his writing and personal and media appearances. Patrick is divine. The author of Magic of the Soul, Applying Spiritual Power to Daily Living. Wow. Which is CSL curriculum Journey of the Soul, starting here this Thursday. And the recently released book by St. Martin's Press, Meditation, The Simple and Practical Way. Both books will be available after the service for your purchase and his to autograph personally for you. He is founder of Living Purpose Institute and creator of the Life Coaching Certification Program and the Primal Fire Intensive on Catalina Island. He was ordained as an independent religious science minister by the late Dr. Earl Barnum in 1985 and affiliated with CSL in 2010. He trained for 4 years in spiritual psychology under the late Dr. Vivian King. He is also ordained and recognized as a Doctor of Divinity through Spiritual Unity Movement, of which, yay, of which he was president for 12 years. He founded Meditation Magazine, to which I had subscribed. He was formerly a director for Sage Publications, a world-renowned social science publisher. Patrick, okay, I got to get this right. Patrick be available after the service to sign his books, but I already said that. Okay. Speaking on radical gratitude and entrance into the sacred, please join me in putting your hands together to welcome Reverend Dr. Patrick Joyful Harbula.
Where'd my mic go? Oh, there it is. It's down there somewhere. That leaves me breathless. Ah, that felt so good. That was so much fun. So, hey, let's give Mike a big hand, who came all the way over here to jam with me. And how about those harmonies by these three amazing singers? Was that phenomenal? And if you weren't here earlier for the gong meditation by Renee, you missed something. So next time he does it, show up, because you know what? As I was sitting there feeling into the gong music, what I felt you doing, and I know how intuitive this man is, because he's coached me and done some processes with me, but I could feel you feeling into what the audience needed, and the sound of the gong was fulfilling those needs, that healing. Beautiful. So I love it here. Can you feel spirit in the air in this building? Guess where it came from? From you. So the first time I came here was way back when Reverend Don was here. How many people were here when Reverend Don was here? Wow. Now that's amazing. You know what they say? There's a guy named, what is his name? It'll come to me. But he does a lot of research around churches and Gary Simmons, called the Thriving Ministry Model. And according to his statistics, 70% of a congregation turns over every year. 50% of you were here 20 years ago. And now that's amazing. What else is amazing is that you have this building. I travel around all over the country, the continent, other countries, and CSLs everywhere selling their buildings and going into strip malls and storefronts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But look at this place. You kept this place. Give yourselves a big hand. Right on. And I have so many friends here. My brother from another mother. The first time we met, I said, "You're a brother." Same with Frank. I don't know how, I've known Frank almost 20 years. And Dina, we met here 20-some years ago. So, all right, now that we got all that stuff out of the way, which is fun to talk about, how many here know that there's a presidential election coming up? I see some people getting nervous now. So, so I'm going to do a poll, but don't worry, not a presidential poll. It's a consciousness poll. And I've done this at a few different centers around town, around the world. And so I'm going to define the terms of this poll first. So the first term is absolutism in terms of our teaching, all right? Absolutism. Anyone know what that means? Absolutism in terms of, Renee, what does it mean? God's got it all? Okay. Another way of saying that is that our consciousness creates everything that we experience, right? And we've heard that idea, okay? And so, in the other term, what I consider the opposite is what I call relativism. And so I'm going to define both of these. So absolutism, everything we experience is a product of our consciousness. Relativism isn't quite that extreme. It says that our consciousness profoundly affects what we experience, but not that everything that we experience is a result of our consciousness. Okay? You get that distinction? So I'm going to say a lot about both of these terms, but just with that, that's the poll. By those definitions, and you can be undecided too, but first question, how many, by a show of hands, by those definitions, are an absolutist? Okay. How many by those definitions are a relativist? Only a couple, okay. How many are undecided? Okay, you answered all three. Correct. So, okay. You're what? You're both, okay. So, now absolutism, that's interesting because usually when I do this poll, it's pretty 50-50. And it might depend on the bent of the particular minister at the center, because congregations tend to, be in alignment with what the minister happens to believe. But it's usually pretty close to 50-50, or it might go 60-40. This was rare that there's that many absolutists. Okay. And the reason, and I think in the early days there were a lot more absolutists in our movement than there are now. And the reason for that is the absolutist point of view says that if everything is a result of consciousness, then the person who is raped participated in creating that. That doesn't feel very good, does it? In fact, I saw a teacher who once said, the victim is of abuse or violence is as, let's see, how did he phrase it? Is as much to blame as the perpetrator. Now, I would never phrase it that way, right? But it's not about blame, but it might be about responsibility. But it doesn't feel good. And so that's why I think there's a lot more people who have, as the movement has evolved, become relativists, because it doesn't feel very good to say that, right? So I'm going to tell you about a new kind of absolutism, though. I like to say it's not your grandfather's absolutism, okay? So we've done the poll. So I was a relativist before I read this book called Busting Loose the Money Game. And by the way, I gave you the wrong sheet. The title of my talk today is, I don't know how that one got in there, but the title is Busting Loose from All Limitations. The workshop today is Busting Loose from the Money Game. And it's really not so much about money, this book, as it is about consciousness, okay? So I was a relativist, and I read the book, and I argued all through it about this whole absolutism thing, because it just didn't seem right to me that everything could be a result of our consciousness. I mean, all the influences out there in the universe, right, might have something to do with it. But again, it's not your grandfather's absolutism. So after reading the book and arguing with it, I went to a Silomar. I was speaking that year in Merrill Hall, and somebody was doing a workshop on busting loose from the money game. So I went to that workshop, and they were talking about this absolutist point of view, everything. In fact, here's how Robert Scheinfeld says it, the author says it in the book, is that you have written the script for your life and handed everyone that you meet a copy of the script that tells each and every person what to do, how to act in each and every circumstance. Now that's radical, right? One of my students said that it's like science of mind on steroids, right? So, and what's kind of cool about that is that that's true, then how could I ever be angry at anyone if everyone is doing exactly what I've asked them to do in the script? I'll get to that. So I went to this workshop, and at some point I raised my hand and said, convince me, I'd love to be convinced that absolutism is it, right? But I just can't buy that everything is a result of my consciousness. And so a bunch of people raised their hand and said, why this absolutely must be so. And after the workshop, some people came up to me kind of quietly and said, thank you for asking that, because I'm a relativist. I can't buy into it either. And so one thing I learned is that absolutists, at least in that venue, tend to be much more vocal than relativists. I'll tell you why in a few moments. So then I went over to lunch, and I was having lunch with one of my minister friends. And we were talking about the workshops that we went to, and I talked about busting loose and absolutism, and I can't completely buy into it. And he looked at me, and he looked me straight in the eyes, and he says, Patrick, if it's a law, it has to work all the time. And I said, yeah, I can agree with that statement, but maybe the wording of the law is that our consciousness profoundly affects what we experience, but not that everything we experience is a result of our consciousness. And so we kind of debated about that a little bit. And then we were on our way to hear Bob Proctor speak. How many know who Bob Proctor is? In The Secret, been around for ages. Bob Proctor is definitely an absolutist. And so, he spoke for 2 hours, and not a pin dropped, right? It was amazing. And so here I am getting hit with absolutism all over the place, right? And so Michael and I are walking toward this lecture after lunch, and we're continuing debate, having a friendly debate. And I realize in that moment, you know what, I'm not having fun right now. How many people have been to a Silomar? Okay, you know that place, right? Amazing place, right across from the beach, and the most amazing Monterey pines all around. I'm walking in this beautiful, magical place, and I'm thinking, I'm in my head trying to convince this person I'm right. He's trying to convince me I'm right, and I'm not having fun. So I just dropped the conversation. We get to Bob Proctor, 2 more hours of absolutism, and then and that ended the conversation for that moment. So the next morning, I'm at breakfast. I see Michael across the room. He comes kind of running up to me, and he says, Patrick, have you thought more about what we were talking about? And what I said next, I like to think, came from a somewhat non-attached, maybe enlightened place. But what I really was trying to do is to just get him to shut up, quite frankly, quite honestly. And so what I said was, Michael, you are absolutely right. I am going to live my life from this absolutist principle for the rest of my life. And I was being kind of sarcastic, but he thought I was being, truthful in the moment. And he said, Patrick, this is amazing. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your teaching. It's going to change everything. And so I walked away from that. I went over to the check-in area, this amazing architecture place with a big fireplace. And I'm sitting there next to this fireplace considering what I just said. And realized that I had to try this concept on, at a deeper level than I ever had before. Because I said it so emphatically, even though I was being sarcastic. And so I thought about my life at the time. And at the time, my finances were not where I wanted them to be. My business was still fairly new. This iteration I've had many businesses in my life, but this iteration. And so it was still in the red. And my health, I just come off of healing a chronic illness, and I was diagnosed with something called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. How many have heard of that? Probably no one, right? Oh, you know about it. Good. Which is a genetic lung disease, and I don't believe in any of those labels, right? And so at 40 years old, I was diagnosed with this. And so I thought about my life. Up until that point, how I thought about these situations was, okay, I've got this diagnosis. I don't necessarily believe it. And I'm going to heal it at the highest level I can during this lifetime. And I'm not going to be attached to any results around that. I'm going to talk about non-attachment a little bit. But what I thought about in that moment is if my consciousness creates everything 100%, then guess what? I could heal this at 100%. Now, which of those two stories is more inspiring to you? I'm going to heal it as much as I can this lifetime, or I can heal this at 100%. Yeah, right? So I decided I want to live a more inspired life. So what I did is I decided I'm going to try this on for a month, as though, even if I don't even completely believe it, I'm going to act as though everything that I experience is a result of my consciousness. And in 1 month, my finances turned around, and I went from red to black in my business. A whole bunch of miracles happened. The next time I saw my pulmonologist, I had gone from 42% lung function to 52% lung function. He was blown away. He said, this isn't supposed to happen. About 3 years ago, I had another test. A new pulmonologist said, you're 75% better than you were 5 years ago. So will I ever heal it at 100%? I don't know. And it doesn't affect me. I play tennis. I play basketball. Nothing stops me. So what I learned in this whole experience is that in my conversation with Michael, who was trying to convince me of this, he's the protagonist in the story, the question about who's right or what the belief is doesn't even matter. What I realize what does matter is the principle from which I live my life. Today, I can't even tell you for sure if I believe that consciousness creates everything, at least the way we're talking about it so far. I'm going to get to the not your grandfather's part of it in a moment. But when I live my life from this understanding, everything gets better, right? So here's how it's not your grandfather's absolutism. What Robert Scheinfeld says in the book is that we're not creating our reality from the presence of our personal self or our thoughts. We're creating our reality from the presence of our expanded self. He doesn't say soul self, but to me that's synonymous. Our soul is creating everything, right? And that is the connector for the disconnect that we often get in science of mind and law of attraction and new thought, is we say everything is for us, but then when we get a diagnosis that we don't like, we think, well, I don't like this, I don't want this, so I'm going to treat it away. But the truth is, if my soul has created this, it's the perfect thing for me, because you all know the challenges in your life. You know, I've talked about this before in my center. It's the message of my book, The Magic of the Soul, that everything happens for us. And one question to ask, you know, with our teaching, this is how it used to be taught, and it's not taught this way anymore. Maybe to a degree it is, but it still shows up, is when something bad happens, which is just a judgment, right? Something we don't like happens, then the question comes up, well, what was the consciousness that created this, right? Or someone else might say to you, what was the consciousness that created that? And that makes you feel instantly better, right? Never. Here's the better question that to ask that comes out of this understanding that everything's been created by our expanded self, not the personal self, not merely our thinking. Our thinking participates in it, but that's another story, and I'll talk about that in the workshop. But that everything is a result of our consciousness, so it's always for us. Because you all have experienced that when you look back over the challenges of your life, that's when we grew the most, right? And so it's always for us. But what happens in the moment when we get that diagnosis or when we find out that our finances just went down is we tend to think this isn't good, right? But what would it be like if we knew, or we at least practiced it in that moment, this is the perfect thing for me? Do you see how we let go of the tension, right? And guess what? If it's a diagnosis and we're fighting against it, guess what that's doing? It's lowering our immune system. When Byron Katie says, I don't argue with reality because I'm a spiritual person. I don't argue with reality because it hurts. And I'll add, I never once win that argument. Right? So it's about embracing everything. It's about bringing love to everything. If I'm trying to get rid of this illness before whatever wants to manifest has come through, the understanding, the shift in consciousness, then I'm fighting against my own soul's intention. The more I say what I offer in my book, which is, what's the magic in this experience? What is the greater, this is the better question to ask. What's the greater freedom, love, joy, any spiritual quality that wants to emerge from the situation that my personality doesn't like, but my soul has presented for me in order to grow, in order to expand my consciousness, right? So, you know, I want to say a little bit more about that, because in being a coach, and I coach a lot of ministers and a lot of practitioners, and what I often see happening, well, okay, I'm going to tell that story at the very end, just occurred to me, is people, when they, and again, it used to be more so than now, because it used to be taught this way. Now it just shows up more subtly, right, in our conversations. But practitioners think, oh, I got this diagnosis. What was the wrong consciousness? And they start feeling guilty about their own consciousness. Guess what that does to your immune system, right? And so one of my missions, I think, it's becoming this because of a conversation, maybe I'll share in the workshop, that I just had with a minister recently, is to really invite people to, what I love about Ernest Holmes is he said we're open at the top. So our movement, our philosophy is constantly evolving. And the next evolution of our consciousness is this. How many know about the four stages of consciousness from Michael Beckwith, right? I love this. It's one of the most useful tools that we've come up with in the last many, many decades. Because I'll go over it real briefly. So stage 1 is life happens to me, victim consciousness, right? Stage 2 is life happens by me. And that's pretty cool, right? So now I realize, okay, it's not just I'm a victim. My thinking can actually have an effect on what I experience. Stage 3 is life happens through me. Stage 4 is life happens as me. So a lot of people come into Science of Mind or New Thought or Law of Attraction, and they start doing affirmations and treatments, and they realize, oh, wow, things are popping now, right? My finances have gone up. My relationships are getting better. Everything's getting better now that my mind is focused on the positive rather than the negative or victim consciousness. But then what often happens is something comes along that we don't like, and we're not able to treat it away, right? So now people either think, okay, it worked before, but it's not working now. Or it works sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. And so some people give up and say, okay, maybe this isn't for me. It works for other people, but not me. But what other people do is they realize, oh, maybe there is something beyond my own thinking that is being presented to me by this experience. That's life happening through me. Now I'm participating with some larger principle, my higher self, my expanded self, that knows that this is perfect for me, right? Now I'm moving into stage 3 consciousness. So, and by the way, we can be in all 4 stages in an hour. I'm leaving from here, don't want to put this in consciousness, but if it happened, it would be the perfect thing for me. Somebody crashes into our car, right? That happened when we were just in Delaware not long ago. Little tiny accident. And so I could think, oh, well, this is, I could be in victim consciousness. That guy ran into my car, right? And then I could realize instantly, oh, there's something higher. This is the perfect reason for this. Now I'm in stage 2. I'm sorry, stage 2 would be, oh, I can change this situation through my thoughts, through my actions, right? Stage 3 then is, this is the perfect thing to happen. There's something good that's going to come out of this. You know, I love to quote Suzanne Summers. How many know Suzanne Summers? A few of you, right? Three's Company, Thigh Master later on. Somebody knows it too. She was one of the, and I never thought, by the way, that when I was 16 years old watching Three's Company, that I'd be quoting Suzanne Summers for her philosophical wisdom at CSL Antelope Valley. But her house was one of those that burned down in one of our Malibu fires, and they were asking her, you know, what do you feel right now? And her instant response was, I know something good is going to come from this. Can you feel the power in that? Can you realize that something good had to come from it? Something good's always going to come from it, but we're going to realize that good a lot sooner if we're inviting it rather than thinking this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. We know someone whose house just burned down a while ago, and she's had such a positive outlook on this. And seeing the benefit, I get to start over. I get to remake my life. That's what she's focused on. That's the power, right? So, if everything that we're experiencing is a result of the consciousness of our highest self, and everything is for us, then there's no reason to ever be attached to anything happening in the world of form. Right? So here's one of the quotes in the book that is super challenging, and yet when I give this quote, I see lots of heads nodding. It's completely impractical, and yet, see if you can feel the truth in this. When you get to the place in consciousness where you realize it's no better to have $1 million than it is to owe $1 million, no better to have $1 million than to owe $1 million, then you'll have the consciousness that can create whatever you want with a snap of your fingers. You feel that? And here's the way Scheinfeld explains it. That if I'm saying that one situation in the world of form is better than another situation, what I'm saying very subtly, is the world of form has power over my inner experience. Therefore, I don't have power over the world of form. If I'm saying it doesn't matter what's happening in the world of form, the only thing that matters is how I feel inside now, and rather than the world of form informing my inner experience, my inner experience is informing the world of form. You get that? So look, it's always an inside-out game. And I know that we all know this, but it's about raising that practice to a higher level so that when that horrible thing happens, rather than going right to spiritual mind treatment to get rid of it, because if I could get rid of it, I might be getting rid of the lesson that, or the understanding, the expansion that my soul wants me to get. And guess what my soul will have to do then? Present it for me again. And sometimes, you know how the universe works, if I don't get it the first time, it makes it a little bit more evident with a challenge that gets my attention even more. That's not what we want, is it? So it's all about, I just want to feel into this. You know, to sum up the book, Busting Loose the Money Game, in my book is the same message, is when we're simply living consistently from an inner experience of freedom, joy, love, then everything else in life lines up with that. And every time I say, when something bad, when something challenging happens, this is for me, I'm in alignment with my soul intention then. And the more I am with my soul intention, the more everything works out easily. You know, if we have attachment to something, what happens is there's always some degree of fear that what I don't want to happen will happen, or what I do want to happen won't happen. And that fear is putting negative energy into what I don't want. When I am non-attached, then the only way, say it this way, to deep inner peace is through non-attachment. And this isn't a new idea. This guy named Siddhartha Gautama a few years ago said something about this, right? Non-attachment. When I am non-attached, I'm at peace. And when I am at peace, the degree to which I am at peace is the degree to which I can manifest what I want easily and effortlessly. If I'm fighting against my soul by judging things, Seinfeld also says that judgment is the glue that keeps our limitations stuck. Right? You took this class from me. So, it's that simple. And some people say, oh, wow, it's hard to live from joy when all these things are happening. Is it? Close your eyes. Think about the person who, your greatest teacher that you've ever had. Think about your favorite person in the whole world. Your child, your grandchild, your spouse. Think about your favorite pet of all time. You feeling joy? Open your eyes. That's how easy it is to feel joy. Okay, so we just did it in that moment. Can I do it the next moment? The next moment. We have choice over how we feel, right? And the more consistent that gets, and not to say, you know, this isn't about repressing emotion, right? If I have emotion, if I have sadness, cry it out, and then pivot to joy. If I'm angry, scream it out, right? One thing I like about the process that Busting Loose teaches is it's like a spiritual mind treatment, but the first step in the process adds one important element. Before we go into the truth, affirming the truth, we feel the discomfort around whatever the situation is, right? And in feeling the discomfort, as Scheinfeld says, the only purpose for discomfort is to claim back power. Synonymous with that is to step into a higher frequency of love, right? The only purpose for discomfort is to step into a higher frequency of love. So in the first step of the process, which we're going to do in the play shop today, is we feel all of the feelings, all of the discomfort, and we magnify it. We make it as intense as we can, because the more intense it becomes, the more power that gets reclaimed. And so once I was speaking at a conference in Canada, and Ken Gordon, who was the spiritual director for our movement for many years, he led a spiritual mind treatment at the very end of the conference. And he did just that. He invited everyone to feel whatever's uncomfortable in their life. And later on, I said, did you read Busting Loose in the Money Game? And were you doing the process? And he said, no, this is just something that evolved for me. I like to meet people right where they're at, right in the feeling nature. So Ken was doing this without even reading the book. I'm not talking about anything in my notes here, hardly. But I'm having fun. You guys having fun? That's what it's all about. Download. We're having a download experience. Who said that? All right. You know, in 2008, we had this recession. And it was really interesting because I thought, well, this isn't going to affect me because of my consciousness, right? And so, and I remember even speaking at a center and saying, you know, if the newspaper said, if the headlines were, recession's over, everyone would go out and start spending money and there would be no recession, right? Because that's what drives our economy, is people spending money. If people say, oh, there's a recession, I got to hold back, the opposite. So I was scheduled to speak at a bunch of centers, and they started calling me saying, oh, we can't have you come speak because we don't have the money to pay you. And I said, well, but the last time I was there, you know, when the workshop brought in more money than what you paid me, so does that really make sense? But people, even people, you know, who are leading this movement were feeling that pullback, right? And so that started to affect my business, because that's how part of my income was speaking at centers, and that's one way that I get clients too. And so I just pivoted. You know, at first I started to say, oh, maybe this is going to affect my business. And then I pivoted and started doing other things, just changed, because I did not let the collective consciousness affect my consciousness, right? So that's the power of consciousness, right? I often said, I said this to some clients recently in my class recently, the true test of prosperity consciousness is not feeling prosperous when there's lots of money coming in. That's easy. Anyone can do that. The true test of prosperity consciousness is, can I feel prosperous when it looks like there's no money? That's prosperity consciousness. And the really great news about that is, if the only time that, if that's the true test of prosperity consciousness, then the only time I can exponentially raise my prosperity consciousness is when things don't look so good, which means my finances go down. Let's celebrate this. I'm pushing the envelope here, people, right? Let's celebrate the money going down, because that means I have an opportunity here to raise my consciousness way more than when the money is coming in, right? Yeah. All right. I think I'm going over my time here, probably. So I'm gonna tell you two quick stories. Let me tell you about the play shop quickly, though. So in the play shop, we're going to go, and I love that. I don't usually do a lecture about this topic. Usually I do something related and then talk about busting loose if I do that workshop. But Renee invited me to talk about this because he'd done the class with me not too long ago, right? And oh, God, we just finished another class. The transformations I've seen with people in just giving up the resistance and just going with the flow is absolutely amazing. So, so what I love about speaking about it is now I've gotten all the preliminary stuff out of the way. In the play shop, we can go even deeper into the subtleties of this. I can talk about, we don't have time to do that. So we'll do it in the play shop. So, so I'm going to teach you about the process. We're going to actually learn how to do that, which is all about claiming back power. And I'm going to show you how living in what Scheinfeld calls reactive mode, or I like to call responsive mode, which means wake up in the morning, ask what's the most joyful thing I could do today, and go do that. Why that seemingly impractical thing is the most practical thing anyone can do for their lives. Guarantee you'll come away thinking, that's what I want to do. So, if you don't have plans this afternoon, join us for this play shop. You will be so glad you did, because every time I do it, people are just walking on air out the door. If you do have plans, change them. If you absolutely can't change them, sign up on our mailing list. Next time we'll let you know we're coming. So here's a story. I might have told this here before, I don't remember, but it's worth saying again. It's a little bit long. So 3 guys out for a game of golf. Anyone heard this before? Okay, the first guy steps up to the tee, and this guy's really taking his game seriously. And he's like practicing, and he's measuring his practice swings. And by the way, I think you know this guy. His name's Moses. Moses lets that ball fly. It's flying over the fairway, and it bounces before this trap, this huge lake. So he just steps out, he raises up his club, and the waters part. The ball rolls through the lake onto the green about 20 feet from the cup. Next guy steps up, and he's a little more relaxed, but he's still very much into his golf game. And so he's taken some measured, and by the way, I think you've heard of this guy. His name is Jesus. Anyone? Okay. So Jesus lets it go. It's flying out farther than Moses' bowl, but it's going to land in that lake. So Jesus just walks out. He raises his hand, and the ball stops and hovers 6 inches from the surface of the water. And so Jesus just casually walks out atop the water, taps the ball onto the green about 10 feet from the cup. Third guy comes out. This guy's the opposite of the first two. He is just laughing, goofing around. He doesn't take a practice swing. He just takes a one-handed swipe at the ball and slices it way off to the right. It bounces off the roof of this caddy shack over the fence onto the freeway. It's ricocheting back and forth between cars, and then it bounces off this the semi back over the fence onto the roof of the caddy shack, down to the rain gutter, down the rain gutter to the drain pipe, down the drain pipe, onto the fairway. It's rolling toward that same lake. It hits a rock, bounces up, lands on a lily pad. A frog reaches up, grabs the ball in his mouth, and just then an eagle swoops down and snatches up the frog. The frog screams out of fright. The ball drops out of his mouth, straight down into the cup. Moses turns to Jesus and says, "God, I hate playing with your dad." Moral of the story, whoever shows up with most joy gets the best result. And that I'm going to prove to you in the play shop. You're probably already convinced. I'm preaching to the choir here. But the last story is, so when my book got published and became curriculum and by the way, somebody said this to me the other day, yours is the only book that's curriculum for CSL of an author who's living. And I thought about it, and I thought, Anna, there's one other, Carolyn Miss is my company. She's got a curriculum. So I was at a Silomar lecturing, and people were coming up to me and saying, thanking me for writing this book, and practitioners and ministers and congregants. But the greatest compliment I ever got was a very respected minister came up to me. She put her hands on my shoulders. She looked at me in the eye. She said, "Thank you for writing this book." I was in week 3 of teaching it, and it was all about accepting ourselves exactly as we are. And she said, right at that time, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I know if it wasn't for that synchronicity, I would have judged myself for attracting this disease. And she said, but because your book, and I was teaching it, to love and accept ourselves exactly as we are, even for our propensity to attract things that challenge us, she said, I know that if not for that synchronicity, I would not have healed as quickly or as fully if I had been judging myself, right? So the most important message in my book, in any teaching, in my mind, is self-love. And this is the phrase that occurred to me not long ago, is that when I love myself exactly as I am, what I realize, unconditionally that is, what I realize is I am not myself. I am in fact the self. I am in fact pure love, and so are you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, God, I love you guys. Let's pray. Take a nice, deep, healing breath. Sink down into your heart. Just feel the expansiveness in this room. We've all just had a transpersonal experience together. And I always say, it's not about what I prepare to come here. It's what you bring that pulls out of me, that we're creating together. So let's feel the vibrancy of Spirit, the power of Spirit, the love of Spirit present in each one of us, and absolutely affirm that this power can do anything. It's unstoppable. That anything in our lives, any of our relationships that we want to shift, we can because we have the power. It's all in that alignment with our highest self. And let's know that whatever we're experiencing in our life is the perfect thing to experience. Otherwise, we wouldn't be experiencing it. And take a deep breath into the peace that comes with that understanding. And the trust. The opposite of attachment is trust. And trust means that I know that everything is going to work out just fine. And together we say, and so it is. Love you guys.
I'm going to ask if we could just give Patrick another round of applause, please. You can join in now if you want to. We're singing, God is my source. Peace, love, God is. And this is a body song, of course, so claim it, stand up, move. God is my source. Let your body feel it. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I love is. God is my source. God is my power. Love gives me everything. I can't hear the track, so I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy, joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Peace, peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. Love. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks, yeah, for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Everything. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me what I need. So I give thanks, yeah, for all my blessings. I know God gives me what I need, what I need, what I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, God. I give thanks for all my blessings. I know God gives me what I need. God gives me what I need. God gives me what I need every day, all day long. God gives me what I need. Can't you hear sing the song? God gives me what everything I need. Yeah.
Woohoo! Yay! Thanks again, Reverend Patrick J. Harbula. J for joyful, because you got Patrick and you got Harbula and you got joyful is the center of who you are coming through. Thank you very much. Yay! So now is the time for all of us to live in that divine abundance and circulate into our center. And for those of you that are at home, there is a donate button for you to contribute to our center. So let's read this together. Today I give in love and joy from the overflow of abundance in my life. My gift goes forward to bless and uplift, fulfilling the purpose of our spiritual community. Lives are transformed. I am grateful, and so it is.
Open your doors, open your windows, swing them wide. Daniel Nahman. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing it. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about health, turf, and wine. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Oh, swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
So on behalf of the center, I want to speak a blessing on this blessing that we received from all of you, knowing that this is from divine source, which is infinite, which is abundant, and it flows through you into the coffers of our church and circulates right back to you, blessing you. It is, this abundance is a circular activity. It's a circular expression of the divine. And so as we give, we get tenfold. So I thank you so much for your gifts. And I have a special announcement here from the president of our board.
How's everyone doing today? Good, good, good. Well, the ecclesiastical team and the board would just like to thank everyone. So far, we have raised $3,700 for our for the new air conditioning for our DMA school. And we just wanted to let you know that it's still going. And if you see the GoFundMe page at a large amount, just know we're looking for about 10,000. But you know, if we can obviously get more, we can get more. But that's what our goal is, about $9,500. And we really got off to a good momentum going on. We're going to pass the basket around one more time. Even if you can't give anything, give it a blessing or a prayer of giving it a boost and knowing that we're going to reach our goal of $9,500 in no time at all. So thank you, everyone. Love you all, and back to Renee.
So I could say, I could sing in the meantime while this is passing, and it would probably not inspire you to give more. So I'll let you pay me to not sing. And let me entertain you by not singing. Oh, I could read another passage. Would you like that? Yeah, okay. So, while the basket, let's go ahead and stand and turn our hands towards each other where we're at while the basket is still going around. And if you'll repeat after me, I know who you truly are. You are a unique way that Spirit is expressing. You are a unique I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Welcome home. Now let's make a nice big circle for the peace song.
She can do it. She can do it.
All the way. Connect the circle.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Ash. We needed you today.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Yeah, I was going to ask.